ever get tired of your boring day-to-day life? I know I do. I should say that I did. Then I decided to do something about it. You see, conventional wisdom says that you live your life and then your parents die and they give you whatever they have left over, an inheritance. I'm sorry, that just wasn't good enough for me. So I decided to do something about it, I want my money right now. So one day, I walked right up to my dad and I said to him,
Dad, I want what's coming to me right now. That's what my youngest son said to me. I want what's coming to me right now. All I could think of that moment was, I'd like to give you what's coming to you right now. I brought him into this world and I can make another one just like him. But he's my son and I love him. So I gave him his money and told him if he could have a better life on his own without me, so be it. He packed his bags, and the next thing I knew,
I was out of there. Kissed this boring place goodbye. I had places to go, people to see. So the first thing I did was,
my son got lost. I love him, but he's no Magellan. I heard he had to stop for directions at least 4 times before he even made it out of our hometown.
You know what? No, not 4, okay? It was 3. And one of them wasn't even my fault. I couldn't understand what the guy was saying. I was just like, okay, thank you. And besides that, the only reason I can't follow directions is because somebody never taught me to follow directions.
Don't go there.
Okay, look. The point is, I got out of there and I started to live it up. I mean, I had more friends than I knew what to do with. I was eating like a king. I had the finest clothes and the ladies. What can I say about the ladies?
I can say something about the ladies. They were women, but they were not ladies.
Okay, you know what? Never mind. The thing was, life was good.
Until my son's money ran out, around the same time a recession hit our country.
There wasn't any work to be found. I mean, I tried. I really tried, but there just weren't jobs. Eventually, I found a job. It wasn't bad. It was a manager's position. It was an associate position at the... Okay, I was a bacon preparation assistant.
Which means?
I fed pigs. I hated that job. It didn't pay much. I didn't have enough money for a place to live. There were many days I didn't even have enough money to eat. Sometimes I was so hungry, I would gladly have eaten the disgusting scraps I was feeding the pigs, but I couldn't. They wouldn't let me. So, with hunger pains as a constant reminder of how I'd squandered everything my father had given me, I lived in agony day after day.
Day after day after day, I'd watch and I'd wait for my son to come home, and my heart would ache as only a parent's heart could for his own child. But hear me on this, I never gave up on him. I never gave up on him. I knew that it would happen one day.
One day it hit me. One day I realized that the lowliest of my father's workers lived better than I did. At least they had a place to live and food to eat, and I didn't have either one of those things. So I wondered,
what if he never comes to his senses? What if he lets pride just get in the way? No. I will see him again.
Again and again. These thoughts ran through my head as I began my journey back to my father's house. I knew what I would do. There's no way that I would accept a handout, and I couldn't expect him to take me back as his son. So I would ask him to hire me on as a worker. I mean, maybe he would do that. Just maybe.
Maybe today will be the day that my son will come home. That's what I would say every morning when I'd wake up. Maybe today will be the day that I would see him off in the distance as he makes his way back home.
Home. That word means so many things. Comfort, care, security, love, home. I couldn't believe I was just a few hundred yards away from it.
It was a beautiful day. I was sitting on my front porch, and that's when I saw him.
He stood up out of his chair. He looked in my direction. He squinted his eyes to get a better look at me. And then I began to wonder, well, what if he doesn't take me back? What if I get to him and he just looks at me and he says, I told you so, I told you so.
Some of you would just roll your eyes every time I mentioned my son. But I knew he would come back. I just knew
this was a bad idea. I knew I shouldn't have done this, and so I just stopped.
He just stood there.
I couldn't move.
I couldn't just stand there, so
He jumped. My dad literally jumped off the porch. I'd never seen him do anything like that before. It was like he was this little kid who was excited about something. And then it hit me. He was excited about me. So you know what I did next?
I ran. My heart was pounding so fast, I just had to get to him.
I'd never seen him run so fast. He was running at me with his arms stretched out wide as if to say, "Welcome home, welcome home."
That's what I kept shouting to him, but I don't know if he could hear me, so I just kept shouting it over and over. All I wanted to do was just scoop him up in my arms like he was when he was like a little child and just let him know that everything was going to be okay. And as I got closer to him, I could see tears running down his face.
He was crying.
Tears of joy. And you know what my son did next?
I jumped. I was nervous, I was excited, and so I literally jumped. And you know what my father did?
Well, I fell backwards. He's a big boy.
And then he hugged me. And he embraced me like only a father can. I kept saying over and over again, "I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't deserve to be called your son."
My son is back. Get him some clean clothes. Let's give him a meal, no, a feast. For my son will no longer live as an orphan. For all my hopes have come true.
I guess it was hope. Hope that made me start that journey back home. Hope that got me through all the miles. A hope that my father would take me back and somehow I could be forgiven.
Forgiven. It's all forgiven. And I will never bring it up ever again. There is no shame, there is no guilt. For my son was lost, and now he is found.